welcome to this week's Pick Your Pokemon Oracle card reading. We are doing Choose Your Starter this week with the Gen 1 original starters, Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. Each pile is different. I tried to go with the element or the vibe of each starter. We'll have this archetype deck as the qualifier, and then as always, my deck to pull from for additional cards. To plug myself as I have to, the pre-order for the second printing of this deck is up on anevenweirderowl.com. All of the timestamps are in the description for each pile. Pick yours and I'll see you there. Charmander pile, welcome. Let's go ahead and get situated and set up here. Go ahead and put this cutie up in the corner. All right, let's start with our qualifier before we dig into our Oracle cards. Okay, well, that was a lot more than I expected, but I'm going to take it. So there's a chance that you've maybe been feeling a little lost recently, a little worn out, like you never know when the end is coming. You might be kind of exhausted. You might be asking, is this something that I'm supposed to be building? Is this something I'm supposed to be fixing? Am I supposed to be done with this? There's a vibe of confusion and exhaustion that exists here. But you're working towards something of great meaning, of great value for you. And it has something to do with your authentic self. So I think that, okay, so because these next two cards are what they are, I believe that this has something to do with disassembling an old mask that is preventing you from stepping into your authentic self. And when we dissolve an identity like this, we have a moment where we're asking, who am I? What do I want? What am I doing? Where am I going? And that is very much the vibe of this reading so far. The mirror is asking us to sit alone with ourselves, to reflect on who we are and what we want without outside input. It's asking us to set our phone down and think about everything from the heart instead of having that outside influence. There's a truth that you feel, that you know to be true, that's inside of you right now. And they're asking you to really speak that truth and trust that even if the people around you don't get it, that the wind will carry it and those who need it will hear it. You're at a threshold right now. You are at a transition point in your life. And again, when we hit big transitions like this, big deaths, big ego deaths, we are going to ask ourselves, what's going on? Who am I? What is this? Where am I going? What am I doing? There's that feeling of confusion is actually a sign that you are doing a good job of adequately dissolving this old identity. And often when we're dissolving an identity, we're going to be alone for a while so that we're not getting all of this outside input on what it is we want or are doing. There's something about yourself, something about this process, something about your existence that you feel a lot of like shame or doubt about. And the despicable face is the things that we're ashamed of are often the things that make us interesting. And embracing those human parts of ourselves so that we can grow from them in a meaningful way. This is a time of purification for you, and we all have moments like that. Sometimes we're the lion, sometimes we're the sun, but purification is the aim. And we can, accept that it's not going to be comfortable, but it is going to be powerful and fruitful for us in a way that will be meaningful moving forward. They're really asking you to wake up and look around and see what's happening. You don't need to get so worked up about what other people think about what's happening. I'm actually going to pop this way. You don't need to get so worked up about what other people think is happening as much as observing and noting what you're seeing and what you're feeling and listening to your body, because you're at a threshold here. So antimony is the gray wolf. It's our wildness. And it responds to respect, not repression. So if you're trying to repress parts of yourself, they're going to find ways to come out, and it's going to be in areas of your life that you're not super stoked about. So the advice that comes with this card is to find something creative to channel this destructive energy toward, and don't stop. Because when you can harness that energy in a positive way for yourself, it's not going to pop up in those other places and cause a lot of problems for you. By doing this, by connecting with this antimony, by harnessing it in a positive direction, you're going to be able to see things more clearly. And they want you to focus on practices and engagement with different, maybe it's connecting with your body in specific ways, doing things that help you keep your vision aligned to what's true. Because things feel kind of upside down right now, things feel a little topsy-turvy. Because you're in a transition. You are absolutely in a transition right now. This card's really folded. So I'm adding this deck. I haven't used this one on here yet. This is actually like a creative problem solving deck from Brian Eno, that someone who passed away who meant a lot to me. This was the only thing close to a deck of oracle cards he had. And so I decided to integrate them in today. And so they might be kind of odd, but I love them. And they usually do help me think outside the box. And this seems like a good time for you to be thinking outside the box. Don't be frightened to display your talents. I feel like that, I'm going to put it right here because I feel like that is directly connected with connecting with your creative practices, connecting with your truth. It almost kind of goes here. Connecting with the real creative flow and energy that exists inside of you. Remove ambiguities and convert to specifics. So I almost feel like this is something that can help in navigating this desert. And you're not going to be able to remove all ambiguities, but you can do what you can do to create as much specific or concentrated clarity as possible. And so, a lot of this process is out of your control, and that's okay. But do what you can to take ownership of what you can control, of what you can move in a positive direction. Allow an easement. An easement is the abandonment of a stricture. So I feel like that goes here. It's not being so rigid with yourself about who you are and what you should do and the identity that you've been attached to, because that identity isn't serving you anymore. It's time to let it go. And like I said, that can be, that's a hard thing to do. You're in a very intense transition right now, and there's a lot of confusion. So the less you can do to make things more confusing, the less. I'm saying this as someone who does this. This is already a dramatic situation. You don't need to add any more drama. Do what you can to control what you can. Move towards less rigidity and move toward your creative flow in a way that allows you to feel more at ease. Let's see what else we get here. I think that there's going to be a desire here to feel very victimized by this process. And I really, really, excuse me, apparently that's important, really, really want you to avoid allowing that to happen. You are going through a process that is an immense opportunity for you. And the more you can take ownership of that opportunity and the less you can focus on how it's happening to you instead of collaboratively with you, the better. This is something that you can actively be in flow with, but as long as you're viewing it as something that's happening to you and focus on the depth of the difficulty, the harder it's actually going to be for you. Going back to, like, it doesn't need to be made any more dramatic than it already is. I want you to separate what you authentically feel from how you feel, like what you think you're supposed to feel in this situation, because there's there are some conditioned beliefs that are tied in with this identity that you're letting go. And when you recognize that they're tied in with this identity and not with your actual core true self, you're going to realize that it's a lot easier for you to pick these things apart. And we have calcination, which I absolutely love that it came up in the Charmander pile, because this is the act of fire. This is the first stage of spiritual alchemy. Old patterns are dying here, babe. And you're doubting yourself a lot, but you don't need to. As a note, I just released my first video essay on my other YouTube channel, and Even Weirder Al, and it's all about calcination in media, and I'm going to go through and do each stage. But if you want to know more, that might be a good place to look. I think that this is an opportunity for you to release and to have a rebirth and a renewal, but you have to embrace it as an opportunity and not see it as a hardship or a lesson that you're being pushed through. Look for the light in the challenge. Look for the light in the challenge. Look for what this is teaching you. Look at the opportunities you're being given by this, and you're going to grow and expand in ways that you can't even believe. I know this is hard, but I also know that you can do hard things. I know you've got this. Charmander Pile, thank you so much for watching this. I know that this wasn't the most fun message to receive, but I think it's one that'll be helpful. Leave a comment. Tell me how this landed for you. Tell me which Pokemon you chose. And I hope to see you next week. Bye. Squirtle Pile, hello and welcome. Go ahead and put this little guy up in the corner. Let's go ahead and pull some clarifier cards before we get going. The last pile got a lot, so I'll be curious to see if we get more than one. Okay, just one this time. Okay, so we have the Village, which is all about leaving behind what you've known so that you can grow beyond it. And that doesn't mean you can't come back, but it means growing beyond an ideology, growing beyond a belief, a community, a relationship, growing beyond something to become something new, to grow into who you're supposed to be. We have surrounded by prosperity. Your attention is being drawn to the infinite nature of reality. That which exists outside the known is beyond measure. Whenever I see this card, I think about Frodo and Samwise leaving the Shire. That's the vibe here. You're being asked to leave the Shire. And this is a scary prospect, but which exists outside the Shire is beyond measure. There's so much here. With a different approach, you'll glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. They want you to really have a good perspective of the situation as an opportunity for growth, as opposed to something that's really scary. And this can be a both and. It can be really scary and an amazing opportunity. And as long as you have the perspective that it is an amazing opportunity, you're going to move more gracefully, more easily. There's going to be less struggle. Life is better together. Seek assistance from your community. Connect with family, friends, or others who will support you. It can be as simple as making a phone call. Lean on your support system. So these together tells me that you're leaving something behind. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's an identity, maybe it's a belief, but you have so much around you that can help you make it through. You are exactly where you need to be. Acknowledge how you're feeling and have faith that the universe will take care of a current concern by providing the best possible outcome for all involved. You don't need to worry, babe. You're doing great. You're in a great position for things to go well for you. Trust that. Keep your perspective very clear. Lean on your support system because you're right where you need to be. Single-mindedness. Choose your own path and what is best suited for you. That community might still have ideas about what's going to be best for you, and they can have the best intentions. You still need to choose what's best for you. So I want you to make sure that even though you're leaving this behind and you're leaning on people, you're not allowing those people to define what this looks like, as much as support the choices that you're making because you trust that it will all work in a way that's very fruitful for you. Resilience. There's no need to rush or push. This is a time to take things as they come. You have the determination and patience to handle what's happening. This isn't something that you have to force to happen. I think that it's something that you are going to be able to just kind of flow through. I think there's resistance and fear here, and they're asking you not to be afraid and to trust that you're where you need to be. And also, you're going to go there anyway. So this is the roadmap to make the most of it. We have the High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. This is about seeing your purpose, your destiny, what you're meant to be doing in a way that you never have before. You are being given the opportunity to move into a new adventure, to a new place, to a new vibration, to experience things you've never experienced. And what a gift that is. You have everything you need to make it through this situation, and you're going to come out the other side stronger. You're going to come out more focused. You're going to come out more connected with your why. This is awesome, even if it doesn't feel like it in this moment. So I have this deck here that's actually a strategic problem solving deck made by Brian Eno. And I love it. Someone who meant a lot to me and means a lot to me, who passed away. This was the closest thing to an Oracle deck that they had, and I was gifted it, which I was so grateful for. So they might be a little different than what we're used to, but I love them anyway. Simple subtraction. Yeah, you just have, this is easy math. We're working on changing our perspective to remove the fear here, because that's going to be a way that you move that's so powerful, that's so life-changing for you. I love in the alchemy deck, there's the yellowing, the transition. The transition's here. How you deal with it is up to you. This is going to happen. Own it. Move with it. Flow with it. Trust it. Lean on your people. That which exists outside the known is beyond measure. You have no idea. And it can be easy to assume, because when we're in a place we've been for a long time, it's the pain we know, right? So it's easy to assume that the pain that exists outside of the Shire is worse than the pain we know now because it's unknown. But what if it's a million times better than anything you've ever experienced? Accept advice. Be open to people helping you. Be open to there being things that come in, and maybe it's this, maybe it's something else. Something that comes in that helps you see exactly where you are and what you're doing. And gives you, sometimes people show up to give us little things that mean nothing to them and change everything for us. That's the vibe I feel here. Lean on your people, because they're going to give you what you need and help you with that perspective shift. Very interesting for these to come out together. When you go into situations like this and you approach it from like a very calculated, cold, controlled way, that often is pretty self-serving, but it means that we don't flow through the emotions associated with it. I also get the vibe here of some addictive tendencies around chaos. So this old belief system, this old thing that you're leaving behind, there's a little bit of an addiction to the chaos. And I get it. I've been there. It sucks, but it's real, right? We like the roller coaster. And if we grew up in chaos, peace feels bad. Peace feels unknown. There's a voice inside of you that's telling you the truth. Listen to that truth. Trust that truth. Hear what your soul is telling you so that you can become in alignment with your true self and find more peace inside of yourself. This is a time of balance. Accept that two things can be true at the same time. This can be terrifying and also an amazing opportunity. And you can do it. This can be hard and you can do it. Have good boundaries, protect yourself, but don't be hypervigilant about it. Acknowledge that the fear and resentment and negativity you feel is actually poison. And the way that we take our power back from poison is by naming it, saying what it is. So figure out what this poison is, name it, and move forward gracefully, because you're moving into something really cool. You're going to know where you're going and what you're doing at a level you've never understood before, and that is going to be so fulfilling. Your inner voice knows exactly what you need. It knows you have everything you need. Trust it, listen to it, and get into alignment. You're right there. You're so close. I can feel it. It's like this, like teetering on an edge. You're right there. Let's see if there's any last thing they want to add. It can be easy to tell ourselves fairy tales or, fanciful stories about what's happening. They want you to be very clear and honest with yourself about what something is. And take time for solitude. Take time to build security and safety for yourself. Take time to rest. You're right on the edge. You're right here. And I know you can do it. And I'm so proud of you for getting here. But keep going. Squirtle Pile, thank you so much for joining. Leave a comment. Let me know which Pokemon you chose. Let me know how this landed for you. Maybe it hit something in a specific way. I always love hearing about it. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next week. Bye. Bulbasaur Pile, hello and welcome. Let's go ahead and put this cutie up over here. Set these aside. Let's find your qualifier first. Okay, anything else? All right, this is about enjoying the journey that you're on currently. Sometimes when we rush to get to the top of the mountain, we miss all the magic that's in the middle. You're completing a pretty big cycle right now, but they want you to enjoy the ride on the way there. You're being initiated into a new cycle, a new way of being. And they want you to lean on your inner wisdom. Be in the moment. Enjoy the miner's magic, the gems, the stones. It's all in the middle of the mountain. Accept that things are changing. Accept that you're completing this, that you're moving into something new, and that you're being guided there. That you have your inner guide, your inner guardian is taking you through this completion and initiating you into something completely new, into new wisdom. Accept that this old journey's over, and accept that you know that you're going to get to the top of the mountain. So enjoy the ride on the way there. The power available to you isn't good or bad. I really want you to let go of duality here. Let's not make any value judgments about what things are. This can be a both and situation, which has been a trend in all of these readings today. You're being initiated into so much power and wisdom here. And the end of an era can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. It requires some acceptance that you're done and that you're moving into something bigger, something better, something new. I have these cards here that are uh, a creative problem solving deck from Brian Eno, that's someone who means a lot to me, who passed away a few years ago. Um, he, this was the closest thing to an oracle deck that he had, and it was gifted to me, which is something that I treasure. And so these might be a little different than what we're used to, but I still find them very valuable. Be less critical more often. You don't need to be judging this journey. You need to be experiencing it. You're climbing the mountain, you're getting to the top, you know you're getting there, you know you're getting to something new, you know you're walking away from something old. Ram Dass talks about looking at people like they're trees. But I think we should look at a lot of things like they're trees. Just let them be what they are, accept what they are. Be extravagant, own your power, own what you have, like what you've succeeded in, own what, there's so much like, own it. That's what own it. Encourage, be courageous. You've made it this far. You can make it as far as you need to. You have already made it this far. And what a gift that is. We literally got the value judgment. I love that. See the bigger picture. You know, I like to talk about this card because when we make a value judgment, we decide this thing is good and this thing is bad. We get this tunnel vision and we miss all of this wisdom and knowledge that exists outside of it. So when we reverse this, we're seeing the bigger picture. We have a clear vision of what's happening. We understand. They want you to take this bigger picture perspective, see what you're doing, because you are doing something huge right now. Be less critical of yourself. You're doing way better than you think you are. Own it. And if there's imbalance, if you feel as though, or maybe you don't feel, but you're noticing that boundaries are not in place, work on that. So the mutual is all about reciprocity, about collaboration. You're in collaboration with the universe here. Own it. View it that way. You're building something with the universe. This isn't something that's happening to you. This is something that you're doing with the universe. Make sure that you're not prioritizing your logical mind over your feelings, because our feelings don't care about our logic. And our feelings are going to tell us a lot more than our logical mind often. I fell on the floor. Rejecting other due to rejection of self, the mirror. This experience is showing you something about yourself, but you're rejecting it. And it's interesting because it's showing you how strong you are, how far you've come, what you've accomplished, where you're going, what you've done. Like, be proud of yourself. I get this vibe of you just being so hard on yourself when you have done so much. You are so wise and so powerful. Accept it. Own it. Embody these aspects of yourself that you've allowed to kind of be hidden historically. This is the beginning of something new, and you are perceptive, you're conscious, you have vision. Connect to it. Own it. If I could use one phrase, own it. Anything it is, own it. Accept it and own it. Sometimes I think that you know this. You're going back and forth between understanding it and being in alignment with this true self, these bigger parts of yourself, and then avoiding it because it's scary, because you've made a value judgment about this power. The power itself is nothing. It's how you use it. You're aware that this old coping mechanism of avoiding your truth isn't serving you anymore. Do something with it. This is the second reading today that's come out with calcination. And so for the second time, I will do a shameless plug here, which is that I'm doing a video essay series on the different stages of spiritual alchemy. Calcination is number one, and how it shows up in television and movies. The first episode, the calcination episode, launched a little bit ago. It's on my other YouTube channel, and even Weirder Al. Check it out and tell me what you think. Maybe it's helpful in understanding this process. But this process is a gift. And fighting this gift is bringing you unnecessary suffering. The only thing holding you back from enjoying this beautiful process that you're in right now is your own rejection and criticism of yourself, of not seeing how powerful you are, of seeing how far you've come, of how wise you are, and accepting that you are meant to do something amazing. You're meant to hit the top of this mountain, but right now you need to enjoy the path there. Be courageous and be extravagant. You deserve it. You've earned it. This is a gift. Embody it, own it, and align with your true self, because you are ready for the next cycle, and the next cycle is going to be killer. I'm so excited to see what you do. Bulbasaur Pile, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this was helpful. Leave a comment. Let me know which Pokemon you chose. Let me know how this landed for you. Maybe it hit in a certain way. I always love hearing how it lands. I'm so proud of you. This was a really hard cycle, and you are killing it. I hope to see you next time. And again, thank you so much. Bye.